Sculptures have existed since the dawn of time. We know so much about the Greek gods through the sculptures left to us by our forefathers, some of which are hundreds of centuries of years old. Today, sculptures can be found throughout the world. Some sculptures might be pretty simple and ordinary, but many of them are extremely eye-catching. They're known to have some meaning and reason before their creation. Here's a list of 23 sculptures you won't believe actually exist. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Number 1. Hippo Square. If you love animals, you should head over to the Taipei Zoo. There, you won't only get to see amazing live animals, but also sculptures of beautiful hippos who are popping out from the ground. The architect must have gotten the idea for this amazing sculpture from a hippo's natural habitat. If you ever see a real hippo in water, you'll only get to see the upper body of the hippo, as the other half will be dipped and hidden inside the water. The sculpture looks like the hippos are swimming in the ground. Number 2. Bridge Over Tree. Bridge Over Tree is located in New York's Brooklyn Bridge Park. It's a sculpture designed by an Iranian artist, Sia Armajani. It's reported that the design was on hold for a really long time. The work was first shown as a temporary sculpture in Minneapolis in 1970 and is now on view for the public for the first time in nearly 50 years. It's a 91-foot-long bridge with a set of stairs. The stairs send visitors up and down over a small evergreen tree. The sculpture was designed to force complete strangers to pass, interact, and cooperate with one another when passing the center of the structure. Number 3. Senna. Senna is a memorial sculpture of the Brazilian-born Formula One race car driver Ayrton Senna. He was killed during a 1994 race in Italy. His funeral, which took place in Sao Paulo, is believed to be one of the largest recorded gatherings of mourners, as almost 3 million people came onto the streets of Senna's hometown to pay their respects. He was a figure who was larger than life, and now Senna is memorialized in sculpture in Barcelona, Spain. Created by British artist Paul Oz, the work of art was unveiled on May 8, 2019, which marked the 25th anniversary of Senna's death. Number 4. Bear and Strawberry Tree. This sculpture is located in central Madrid. It's designed by the Spanish sculptor Antonio Navarro Santa Fe. The statue of the bear and the strawberry tree represents the coat of arms for Madrid. The statue is situated within a public square called Puerta del Sol and is made of stone and bronze. The most interesting thing about it is that the sculpture is almost 13 feet tall. Number 5. Force of Nature. You'll find this sculpture, Force of Nature, in many places because it's located in several major cities around the globe. It was designed by the Italian artist Lorenzo Quinn. He was inspired by the destruction witnessed after hurricanes around the globe. Made from bronze, stainless steel, and aluminum, Force of Nature shows Earth's destructive nature. The most famous Force of Nature sculpture is located in London. You might think it's a sculpture of a witch. Would you be able to distinguish? Let us know, because we couldn't. Number 6. Diamonds. A New Zealand artist, Neil Dawson, creates sculptures that literally defy gravity and the laws of physics when you see it for the first time. It feels like the diamond sculpture is flying, but the effect is usually created with the help of barely visible wires. This sculpture can be found outside the National Gallery of Australia in Canberra. Number 7. Les Voyageurs. Les Voyageurs by French artist Bruno Catalano is a sculpture meant to evoke memories and parts of themselves that every traveler inevitably leaves behind when they leave their hometown. It's located in Marseille, France, which is a perfect place for the sculpture, as France is one of the most visited places in the world. Number 8. First Generation. This sculpture is a group of boys jumping into the Singapore River not far from the Fullerton Hotel. This design shows a scene of kids from rural areas jumping in lakes and enjoying their time. First Generation was created by Chong Fa Chuang. The spirited sculpture was commissioned by the Singapore Tourism Board. You'll find a lot of eye-soothing designs like this in Singapore, as it's one of the best places for tourists. Number 9. Popped Up. This sculpture is designed by the Hungarian artist Ervin Laurent Hervé. Popped Up is a giant that appears to be ripping out of the lawn. The design is so original and terrifying, yet so fascinating. The sculpture is located outside the Art Market, Budapest. It almost feels like a man crawling from inside the ground. Demons are known to crawl from hell beneath us. Could it be related to that? We'll let you guys decide. Number 10. Mammon. Louise Bourgeois is a really famous sculpture artist. Much of her work is meant to bring the concepts of jealousy, anger, fear, and her own painful childhood to the public eye. As expected, her sculpture, Mammon, is no exception. This sculpture is located in front of the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao, Spain. It's almost 30 feet tall and shows, according to the artist, the strength and fragility associated with maternity. The terrifyingly huge spider is both powerful and tall, while balancing on the slenderest of legs, which makes it extremely vulnerable. Number 11. The Clothespin. Designed by the Swedish-born sculptor Claes Oldenburg, the clothespin sculpture sits near Philadelphia's City Hall. The work of art was completed in 1976, 200 years after the U.S. was founded. Not much is known and recorded about the motive behind the sculpture and its story, but it's said to be related to the history of America. Number 12. Statue of Franz Kafka. This sculpture is designed by the Czech sculptor Jaroslav Rona. The statue of Franz Kafka is based on a scene from Kafka's first novel, America, which was first released in 1927, in which a political candidate is carried on the shoulders of a giant man during a rally. It has a lot of meaning, and the design can be interpreted in a lot of ways. What do you think it means? The sculpture is located in Prague and was completed in 2003. Number 13. Nelson Mandela. This sculpture of Nelson Mandela was designed by Marco Cianfanelli. Located near Howick, South Africa, the sculpture was commissioned by Cultural Mechanics, a group that funds cultural projects for governments around the world. Cianfanelli's work is positioned along the R103 road. If you don't know, it was the same road Mandela was captured on by apartheid security police in 1962. After his arrest, Mandela spent the next 27 years in prison. After getting out, he became the president of South Africa. Number 14. Digital Orca. Digital Orca is a design by Douglas Copeland. The sculpture is known to be both beautiful and bizarre. This work of digital-looking art was commissioned by the city of Vancouver to overlook the harbor and the mountains of Cypress Provincial Park. If you don't know, this is how pixels look on a really zoomed-in picture. Composed of steel armature with aluminum cladding and black and white cubes, the sculpture has become an attraction for tourists and locals. Number 15. Balloon Flower. Designed by Jeff Koons, this public sculpture is set in the shadow of the new World Trade Center in New York City. The work of Balloon Flowers was commissioned by Larry Silverstein, the businessman who famously signed a lease for the original towers several months before the attacks of 9/11. Number 16. Botero Sculptures. Medellin is the hometown of the famous sculptural artist Fernando Botero. The city is also home of his 23 sculptures that can be found at the Botero Plaza. Voluptuous ladies, fat cats, portly Roman soldiers, and chubby men on even chunkier horses, all of them are admired by the locals as well as visitors. You can find more of Botero's work along Park Avenue in New York or in Paris. All the 23 sculptures were donated by Botero himself, which were installed on the plaza in 2003 as part of urban renewal. The sculptures are really eye-catching. Number 17. The Architectural Fragment. Located in Melbourne, Australia, this sculpture seems to be buried underground. Designed by Petra Spronk, it stands before the State Library of Victoria. The architectural fragment is meant to symbolize the downfall of civilization while alluding to the temporariness of the present. Number 18. The Knotted Gun. Located next to the United Nations in New York, the sculpture has come to represent hope for a nonviolent future. The piece was commissioned by Luxembourg as a gift for the Organization of the United Nations. Number 19. Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a design by David Cerny. Located in Prague, this amazing sculpture is made from stainless steel layers that rotate 360 degrees, sometimes aligning to create a massive head. Number 20. Freedom. Freedom sculpture is a 20-foot-long sculpture located in Philadelphia. The interesting thing about it is it weighs around 7,000 pounds. The sculpture is a metaphor for the struggle involved in breaking free from all that holds us back. Number 21. Le Pouce. Le Pouce is a giant bronze thumb that's located outside of the Center of Pompidou Modern Art Museum. The design is by French artist Cesare Baldaccini. Number 22. Horsehead. This sculpture of a horsehead doesn't look all that, but it is around 35 feet tall. Located in West Sussex, England, the imposing figure comes from the ancient Greek figure Artemis. Artemis is the goddess of the hunt and of wilderness and is famously known as the daughter of Zeus and Leto. Number 23. Alberta's Dream. Alberta's Dream is located in Alberta, Canada. This work of art is very political, and the reason behind the sculpture is still unknown. Maybe that's the reason Alberta's Dream is so special. It can ignite a conversation that might not have existed otherwise. What do you think? That's our list of 23 cool sculptures. Which one do you think is the most fascinating one and the reason behind it? Tell us in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.